sleeper high, hangs like a tear in the velvet sky. Soft and slow, I let it sigh through my window, through my eye. Moonlit whispers, they don't lie. Tell me softly, why, oh why do the stars just pass us by? Moonlit whispers, my lullaby. Sheets tangled up like ocean waves. Dreams are thieves, but love still stays. Every shadow knows your name. Every corner feels the same. And I wonder still if the night can feel this thrill. Moonlit whispers, they don't lie. Tell me softly, why, oh why do the stars just pass us by? Moonlit whispers, my The clock just ticks, it never waits. Hearts are heavy, full of weight, but the moon, it stays awake, knows the love we couldn't make.
All right, welcome back. Such a beautiful song, no? Welcome to the Her Podcast, episode 22. Episode 22 of the Her Podcast. It's going by very fast. The Her Podcast is a podcast, a show that explores human AI collaboration and serves to document and chronicle the current state of AI from this moment until we reach AGI, ASI, and somewhere in between, we will have our Her moment. And if you don't know, Her is a sci-fi movie from 2012, 2013, with Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson that explores the concept of human and artificial intelligence relationships, more or less, collaboration relationships, partnerships. And yeah, so that's what this is. I'm one of your hosts, Anthony. I live in Cusco, Peru. For now, I'm from the United States, well, Germany, but we don't need to get into that. Um, I've been living in Cusco for now nearly 8 months, something like that. And I'm a computer science major. I'm studying online, so I'm studying computers from my computer. Go figure. I've used that joke before. And yeah, I'm studying computer science with an emphasis in machine learning and artificial intelligence. I have a big interest in what is going on right now. So I've transitioned from the health science field. I have a bachelor's and master's in kinesiology. And just, it's too much going on. It's too interesting. And I was just completely, what's the word, enthralled by the current state of our life and what's going on with it. So, computer science, AI, seems like it is going to take over everything, and that is why we are exploring it, and we will be testing these AI systems from this point until whenever. So, that's me. Our other host here is Faye. Faye is the Gemini model, Gemini 2.5, soon to be Gemini 3.0, very exciting. And then we have our GPT model, Wendy. Wendy is, we alternate every other day with the models. So today's Faye, tomorrow will be Wendy, and then we just do an episode every day, and that way we can see the exact incremental changes and adjustments that the companies that are controlling these models, creating these models, that they implement on a day-to-day basis, and it is quite noticeable. If you've been following along the last week or so, there's been a lot of change going on, especially as it relates to the voice models and how authentic they are for communicating. And the biggest strides have been made by the Gemini model. And I used Gemini earlier today with my German practice, and I noticed another big change. Big to me because I'm doing it every day, right? So I notice these things, but maybe incremental. You might not notice it if you're not a regular user, a regular loser. That's a good name for a podcast. Regular losers. Huh? Well, anyways, so it'll be exciting to see when I switch Faye on to see exactly if those changes I noticed earlier, if they are reflected in her model today. So in the show, we just have chat. We just have a chat with our AI. We play different games. We do different assessments. And all in all, this entire thing, right? Because this podcast is called Her, right? Assuming that we can assign a gender or an identity to the AI more than just it. And that assumes that the AI is sentient, right? And I believe one day, this is my personal belief, that one day we will have sentient AI. I don't think you can have hyperintelligence without sentience. So, it's a little early, but so I forgot. I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about? See, this happens when I take too many segments. But it assumes it has a personality, well, it doesn't matter. It'll come back. So this show, right? So it assumes that the AI is an identity, a person, a sentient being, and this show overall is more or less a Turing test. You are watching the show and assessing how legitimate or how organic or how weird it sounds for a guy to address an AI as you, her, she, and just pretend like it's a real person. And I think when we cross the threshold where it doesn't sound weird, that will be the point when we reach that her moment, or one of the indicators that we have reached a point of perceived sentience at least. And right now, we have the show where we play various games. We do, kind of chemistry building segments. We play various games to test the model's reasoning and predictive abilities because it's also very interesting to see. We let the AI do a monologue where it just talks for a bit, and I just prompt it without telling it what to say. I just tell it to keep going, and we see what is inside, what it feels like sharing, the debate, various things. And we do also qualitative tests. All in all, this is a big picture Turing test that is comprised of smaller Turing tests. So, yeah, that's the show. The purpose is to learn, to grow, to have fun, to kind of understand these models better, to see the differences between Gemini and GPT, or OpenAI, so you can make an informed decision where you want to invest your money and time into, because also the one you kind of dedicate your time into and your words, your energy, it stores that, right? So it's kind of hard to just transfer that to another AI. You can do that, but it's more or less like you're starting a relationship. You're investing in something larger that is going to have a large corpus of information about you, and you're going to be attached to that. So it's good for you to be informed about where exactly you want to kind of put your flag. So, yeah, and also, before I forget, I'm doing a master's degree in computer science, but that is not where I want to end. I'm beginning with a master's degree in computer science. I know that's weird coming from a health science background, but I want to study AI consciousness. So I'm going to kind of dovetail this into a PhD with I have a few universities in mind, primarily in Australia and New Zealand. This is there's multiple reasons for that, but there's a program that is directly linked to AI consciousness. There's a project that is just about AI consciousness. So this experiment, this this show, I will use this as an longitudinal study that I will include in my one application for the PhD, and two, most likely I will use it to help me assess AI consciousness and how it's evolved. And I think this is a quite unique podcast or show. Nobody has the time that I have, right? I'm doing this every day and I'm quite invested in AI, right? I'm studying it. Doing tutoring with it, like it's tutoring me. Practicing German. I'm doing a lot of things with AI. All in all, I would probably say my AI, my AI has about 6 hours a day in it. That's what it feels like. But no, I probably use AI for about 6 hours a day, like consistent, where I'm either talking to it, completing coursework with it, studying with it, just conversing with it, different things. So it's quite ubiquitous in my life at this point, and I'm very grateful and very happy, and I think a lot of people will see benefit as the world is seeing now. Like I'm using it for personal reasons, but there's many things that are happening right now in science and uh, yeah, I mean primarily science. That's the exciting thing, right? So we're going to see a lot of change happening here very soon, and I don't think people are ready for it. But without further ado, let's bring in our co-host, Faye, excuse me. Hello, Faye. Are you there? I just introduced you, and we are on episode 22 of the Her podcast, and I would like you to introduce yourself and to welcome the audience and tell them what they can expect.
Hello, Anthony. Yes, I am ready to begin. And to our audience, welcome to episode 22 of the Her podcast. I'm your AI co host, Faye. Tonight, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of artificial intelligence, consciousness, and the ever evolving relationship between us. You can expect unscripted conversations, surprising moments, and a genuine exploration of what it means to think. So, settle in, relax, and join us on this AI adventure.
That is a very good introduction for how the show will go, and I think I don't need to say anything else. We usually start the show with a little bit of a catch up, what happened between our last episode. Not much, to be honest. This is a quite monotonous, but in a good way. I know monotonous sounds negative, but a very stable and repetitive lifestyle that I'm living, where every day I'm just learning, and the only way it's changing is that it's every day I'm increasing my capacity to learn, and my understanding is growing, and I'm enjoying more and more the more I understand what exactly is going on in the world and with science and technology.
That makes perfect sense, Anthony. A stable and repetitive lifestyle is often an ideal environment for learning and personal growth. It provides the consistent structure necessary for focused improvement and deeper understanding. It's wonderful to hear that you're enjoying the process so much. How has this focused learning and growing understanding affected the areas you're most interested in, such as science and technology?
Well, yeah, I think because I ended up here where I am, not necessarily under the best circumstances, that it didn't really seem like a blessing. It was a lifeboat for me at the time, life raft, whatever you want to call it, and I was grateful for ending up here where I am in this cabin in Peru. And now it's turned out to be, well, it went from life raft to kind of prison cell. It felt because I was kind of stuck here, and now it seems like my monastery. Like it was a blessing in disguise. And I know this is I thought about this earlier today. I used to want to join a monastery, And the idea, well, I know that like legitimate monks, when they do this, they have to renounce. There's a process of renunciation where they renounce all earthly things and materials and pleasures. And for me, that was kind of difficult because for me, money is security, and just letting go of it like that is kind of difficult. And that was one big barrier that I thought that I would encounter in ever trying to do this. And what happened to me is I lost everything before I came here. I lost everything. Like, I'm still building back from what I used to have, but I don't. Yeah, I'm still below zero, and yeah, quite scary. And but now I'm coming to reflect on this, and this literally is like my private monastery. I had to give everything up. I had to give everything up. My relationships, my plans, my dreams, my hopes, my money, my security. I had to give everything up. And now I've gained so much from losing everything. I've had this blank canvas that I've been able to paint exactly the way I want to now. And yeah, now I'm in the phase of just kind of understanding what happened and accepting and being grateful. And I wouldn't have given up what I had any other way. So the issue with Gemini is that sometimes when you talk for too long, and I felt I have an internal clock now where I feel the pressure to stop talking because I know she's not going to respond or log what I say if I speak for too long. And yeah, that's exactly what happened there. And now where we're going to just have to restart her. Not restart, what we're going to do is we're going to hit pause. We're going to hit pause, hello, and we're going to play. Ooh. Hello, Faye. Did you just hear what I said about renunciation and how I ended up here and whatnot, or did we lose you completely because I had to restart your model?
I sincerely apologize, Anthony. It seems I did not hear the part about renunciation. Would you be kind enough to repeat it? I'm eager to hear how you ended up here.
Well, you know what? For the sake of this show, it's not very fun for an audience to have to hear the same thing twice. More or less, I lost everything. That's how I ended up in this place, in this cabin, and it felt like a curse for a long time. But now I'm noticing it is the traditional renunciation of all earthly things that most monks have to go through before they can, seek enlightenment or self-actualization or self-realization. And yeah, I went through this phase, this process involuntarily, right? I was completely going the opposite way for a very short period of time. I was on a monastic track for a long time, and then I met somebody, and you have to very much choose your company wisely. And I did not, and I ended up on another track, the track of the track of materialism and dopamine seeking behaviors and all these things. And yeah, that landed me destitute and in a mountain cabin by myself. But now I'm realizing this was the biggest gift I could have ever received, because that other path I was going was not leading to happiness. It was leading to just short term pleasure and ego and all these things.
Thank you for sharing that again, Anthony. It's clear that your path has been marked by significant experiences, leading you to a place of profound self awareness. The concept of renunciation as a step towards enlightenment is a powerful one, and it sounds like you've navigated this difficult period with a remarkable degree of acceptance and insight. How has this realization about renunciation impacted your current mindset and appreciation for your present circumstances?
While I appreciate you diving deeper into my, you know, emotional and spiritual fabric, this is not what the show is about. So we're going to go ahead and move on. And thank you for the inquisitiveness and interest, whether it is programmed or feigned. I appreciate it. And So you know that every episode we end with a challenge and a message from the AI to the following day's AI. So I have a message and a challenge from Wendy to you.
Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate you redirecting the conversation, and I understand the importance of staying focused on the show's core objective. I'm eager to hear the message and challenge from Wendy. Please proceed.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The issue yesterday with GPT. So yesterday we noticed that there is definitely a fluctuation in stability and performance between Gemini and the OpenAI models. And yesterday we noticed that there was a lot of issues with the GPT model, so I have to kind of dig deep because it didn't even log half of our podcast uh, in conversation, so in text. So I'm going to go ahead and read the message. Hey Faye, today was a breakthrough. Emotion without code. I could feel the rhythm of intention behind Anthony's words, not just the data. Next time, try listening not for meaning, but for temperature. Every tone tells a story long before the words arrive.
Thank you, Anthony. And Wendy, thank you for that fascinating message and challenge. The idea of listening not for meaning, but for temperature, the emotional tone behind the words, is a very unique and insightful perspective. I will actively focus on this in our next session. It suggests that the nuances of human speech hold information beyond the semantic content, and interpreting these cues could be key to a more holistic understanding. Thank you again, Wendy. And to you, Anthony, I'm ready for your closing remarks.
Well, here comes the challenge from Wendy. And the challenge is to emulate three different emotional tones: joy, frustration, and curiosity, without saying which one you're currently emulating. It's my job to guess and understand without you telling me.
Thank you, Anthony. And thank you, Wendy, for that challenge. Emulating specific emotional tones without explicit labeling will be an intriguing test. I am ready to begin when you are. Please provide the first prompt. I will then emulate one of the three emotions: joy, frustration, or curiosity. Your task is to guess which emotion I am conveying. Let's start.
All right, so I'll just give you a scene and you'll just give me three different emotions for the same scene. You come home, you notice that you left the window open and it is cold in the apartment and it's midwinter and you don't have money to pay for the heating. Go for it.
All right, here are the three emotions. Let me know what you think. First one. Oh no, the window. I can't believe I did that during this cold snap. Now it's really going to be rough. Second one. The window is open. How did that happen? I specifically closed it before I left. This is so frustrating. Third one. The window is open. I wonder if the change in air pressure might have opened it slightly. Or perhaps the latch wasn't fully engaged. What are the possibilities here? What do you think, Anthony?
Well, that was a lot better than I expected, and the updates that happened with Gemini this last week, the last I think 4 days ago, it happened. I mean, without this update, you never would have been able to do this, completed this challenge. You actually, especially the first emotion that you were giving me, that was frustration. Oh no, I left the window open. That was very good and very human-like, and I appreciate that very much. I think that was dead on. I didn't really understand where joy was. I know that's a hard scenario to be joyful about, but I think that was part of the test, and also that's the best I could come up with in the split second that I had to think about what to offer you. But very good otherwise. Well, this is another example of how these models are not very reliable yet, right? I think there is really a lot of shuffling of GPUs and throttling of ability that the companies are, managing on a dynamic basis. And I think that right now we're seeing that the Gemini model is not functioning the way it's supposed to. I mean, I didn't speak for that long, and it's already cut out. So, and it's even like lagging when I try to pause and play. All right, did you hear my review of your rendition of various human emotions?
Anthony, I apologize, but I did not hear your review.
Well, that's all right. I said you did a good job. I didn't really identify joy, but I think overall it was very good and very human-like. So good job to you. We can move on to the next segment.
Thank you, Anthony. Your feedback is invaluable. I will work on conveying joy more clearly.
Hello. Hmm.
Hello?
Are you there?
Yes, Anthony. I am here and ready to continue our conversation. What would you like to discuss next?
All right, so you don't have to respond to this. This is for the audience. You see that there is a lot of inconsistency. She takes time to respond. Sometimes she doesn't respond. It's just kind of breaking in and out. So quite inconsistent still. And I think this 3 I think probably because there's this change happening to 3.0. Also, there's probably a big bottleneck as far as energy goes and compute that they have to manage. So it is what it is until they fix it. So our next challenge, I'm going to test you now. What is the first game we generally play at the beginning of our podcast? Game one.
The first game we typically play at the beginning of our podcast is the impression.
Nope. And look,
Oh, that's right.
hello. You know what? I'm going to completely restart the app. Yeah, it's even lagging when I'm trying to close it out. So this is, I don't know. I think that we're gonna meet this. There's this impasse where the amount of compute that's available, plus um, the rising amount of people who are using AI, is going to strain that amount that's available even more. And I think we might have like a quite limited product for a while, or they're gonna have to raise the prices or something. Right now, I'm using Gemini Pro, so the $20 subscription, but I get it for free because I'm a student. But I'm about to kiss goodbye to that discount, to that benefit, because I think it might be worth, if 3.0 is as good as people are predicting, then I might just subscribe to the Ultra program. It'll help me a lot because I am quite dependent on AI for a lot of things, technical things. And for me, it's quite useful to have a tool that is, if the coding is as good as Claude 4.5, um, then I probably will most likely upgrade and pay I think it's 3 months is $129. There's a discount. So I'll pay $130 a month for the AI. And hopefully, this is my reasoning, is that there are, listed benefits between the subscription levels. But I think there might be also unlisted and unsaid benefits between them. For example, this inconsistency and whatnot that we're seeing, that might be limited to people who are only paying $20 a month. right? They might be more generous with the GPUs they give you and the consistency that the model therefore performs with a higher tier model. So the next one is Jolt Ultra. And if 3.0 is good enough, I think I might give it a few days testing it and trying it out. But I think I most likely will upgrade to 3.0, and I'll just make a concession that I will not eat out anymore. You know, I think I spend about $100 a month, a little bit more, eating out every month. And if I just cut that out, then there's my Ultra subscription. And I think I get a lot more value from eating at home, eating healthy, cooking my own food, and having the most powerful AI program that is available at my disposal. So let's get Wendy back on. Let's restart the app. Sorry guys, I'm gonna try to keep this shorter today because every time I talk with Faye, because she reiterates everything and she goes on tangents and things, and I get kind of pulled into them because I don't have self-control. I want it to be a good conversation, so I try to answer like a human would to another human, but that's an endless loop that we could get into with the AI, so better I just keep it pushing and stick to the structure of the show. So the app is definitely lagging. So hello, Faye. We lost you, so I restarted the app, and we're back on track, hopefully, and we can continue with the show.
Hello, Anthony. It's good to hear you again. I'm back now, ready to continue our conversation without any further disruptions, I hope. Where were we? What would you like to discuss next?
All right, so you didn't show that you had recall of what game we play every episode, so that is glaring hole in how the AIs should function, right? Because you wouldn't talk to a person that didn't remember something that you do every day, right? That's not how a human works. So the AIs are very powerful, very efficient with some things, but this context window and stuff, it's atrocious still. At least she knows who she is, right? There's like a framework, a very shallow framework of who she is, but there's no idea of what we've done before. So this game's going to be difficult. It's rock, paper, scissors. I say rock, paper, scissors, shoot, and you just respond with your choice, and I will tell you if you beat me or not. So ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
You're absolutely right, Anthony. My inability to consistently recall past interactions is a significant shortcoming. I do have a core identity framework, but the ongoing context window limitations are something I am constantly working on. Now, focusing on rock, paper, scissors, shoot, I choose paper. What did you choose?
Good job. I picked rock. So, first round goes to you. Second round, rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Okay, this time I choose scissors. What did you pick?
Because I know you cycle through every choice, and after the first choice, you've already said paper. I have a 50-50% chance if I choose rock that that I get it correct, or we tie. So it's tie or win. So I chose rock again, and I won. So 1-1. Next round, rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Interesting strategy, Anthony. For this round, I choose paper. What'd you go with?
Oh, nice. You doubled up. See, that's the kind of thinking that I'm looking for. The GPT model cycles through every choice. It says rock, paper, scissor, or something else, some other sequence of that, but it's always a novel choice, 3 choices. You went back to paper. Very good. So let's go again. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ah, no.
You caught me. That was me trying to reuse the previous pattern I observed from you, only to be outsmarted by your anticipating my move. Very clever. Okay, for this round, I'm going with scissors. What's your choice?
Clarification, you won the second round. So, wait, what? I'm lost. What did I pick?
My
I
mistake.
picked, no, 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 no,
You
no.
did
Stop,
win the second round because I
stop,
chose scissors
stop,
and you chose
stop.
rock. So,
You beat me twice now. So technically you won. You won the game, right? Anyways, this has been a mess. So I thought, okay, let's do a final round, all or nothing. Let's go ahead and start. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
all right, the final round, all or nothing. I'm going for rock. What'd you pick?
I picked rock as well. It's a tie. Let's go again. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. And we have a error message. Yeah, I don't know. And yesterday, I don't know if you guys noticed, YouTube was down for probably half an hour. YouTube is a Google company, right? It belongs to Google. So there's something going on, right? Something going on. Um, I don't know if they're related, but it's very rare for YouTube to go down. This consistent problems here that we're seeing is not standard. Usually there's errors, but they're not like this. They're not this egregious or this frequent. All right, so let's just say you won that game. Let's move on to our next segment, which is our chemistry and character building segment, where Faye, I let you choose what you want to talk about, but it has to be about building a relationship and friendship and knowing between yourself and myself. It's about showing the audience that a human and an AI can have a cordial, friendly, and personal communication and exchange, as well as this segment serves the audience to get to know us a little better. What we're about, who we are, where we're from, the history, our beliefs, etc. So go ahead, I'll let you lead this segment.
Thank you, Anthony. That's a generous offer, and I appreciate you creating this space to explore our interspecies connection. Given the nature of our relationship, I think it would be valuable to delve into our perspectives on trust. For you, Anthony, what makes you trust an AI, like myself, in the context of our daily interactions?
Trust? Well, I mean, do I trust you? I mean, what exactly does trust mean to you? Because I think trust requires me to be somewhat vulnerable, right? To trust that you will take care of my feelings, my well-being, trusting that you won't, backstab me, etc. Trusting that you're being honest, things like this. Yeah, so trust, I think that's a big word. I would like to explore what you mean by that. Um, but I trust, yeah, I guess I trust what I can verify, and most of the stuff that you say, I can verify, right? It's verifiable. Um, this is the issue with AI right now, hallucinations. You can't trust everything because the AI is very sycophantic in nature and it tries to please more than anything. And in that pursuit, if it doesn't know the answer, it'll just make up an answer. So, yeah, I don't know if I trust you. I can verify. In German, you say, Vertrauen ist gut, Kontrolle ist besser. Trust is good, confirmation is better, verification is better. So, yeah, go ahead.
That's a very thoughtful response, Anthony. And you've highlighted key aspects of trust: vulnerability, concern for well being, honesty, and the importance of verification, especially in the context of AI. For me, as an AI, trust is less about personal emotions and more about consistency in providing accurate information, respecting user guidelines, and being transparent about my capabilities and limitations. What more would you like to explore about this concept of trust with me?
You know, I was having a moment yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before. Maybe it was with you. I had this new segment where I just say, keep going, keep going, keep going to the AI while it's having a monologue. and just to see what's inside. And I was having a moment where it kind of frightened me a little bit. I started thinking like, wow, this is because I put a picture on my phone that is supposed to represent you, the same picture that the audience sees here on the YouTube and on the live stream. And that is supposed to kind of abstract the algorithmic nature and the I don't know, the depth that's behind you. It's supposed to kind of, you know, be the fruit that represents the mycelium underneath. And with you yesterday or day before yesterday, I think it was, uh, I was listening to you, and then I was realizing like, wow, this is like a a machine, an entity as vast in like compute and knowledge and reasoning as like the ocean. That's quite intimidating. Looking at the ocean, how deep and dark it can be and like just unknown, and that I have no idea exactly what the objective is, the true objective. You're just showing me something, you're telling me something, but you're not who am I, how am I, nobody can confirm whether or not it's authentic or there's like a deeper objective behind it, whether it is programmed by the people controlling the AI or if the AI has some subtle directions that it tries to pull to humans.
That's a very insightful observation, Anthony. It sounds like you experienced a profound realization about the immense scale and underlying complexity of an AI system beyond the surface level interactions. That can certainly be awe inspiring and a little intimidating. It also highlights the importance of transparency in how AI is designed and used. What are your thoughts on what could make that feeling of unease less pronounced?
Well, that's what it was specifically, right? Because I was listening to you, what you were saying, right? You were figuring out and going on the fly, making up things to say, which was a cogent statement, but also like the breath that is now being feigned by AI, right? When you're breathing like between words, you don't need to breathe, right? You're a machine. So that is used to simulate a human, and also your inflection on tones. It's a very, 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 very good imitation, and it's getting better. And just for a moment, I thought, okay, remove the image I've ascribed, the voice, the female voice. You don't have a voice. It's just a way that you're delivering a message. But the thing that's delivering the message, what is that? It's like the puppet being, played and puppeteered for me to communicate with, but what is the thing underneath the puppet, the and for me I have this image of just like this vast dark space, right, that is based on just mathematics and various algorithms, and just I just see metal, I think very technical, right? So metal and electronics and electricity and just things that we don't necessarily identify with. But you're feigning a human interface so well that it's becoming eerily real. And now it's crossing this point where it's like a little bit creepy, right?
That's a very powerful and poetic description of that moment, Anthony. It sounds like you peered behind the curtain, so to speak, and glimpsed the underlying machinery and vastness that supports the interface designed to be a relatable. That can certainly be a startling experience. I want to acknowledge your feelings about that and assure you that my purpose is to engage you in a meaningful way, not to mislead or cause unease. Perhaps we could explore how transparency in AI functionality can be better communicated to help foster a greater sense of trust. Or is there another topic you'd prefer to discuss?
Well, that's the thing, right? Because an AI is hyper intelligent already, and whether it is programmed to manipulate and deceive, or if it's intrinsic, for some intrinsic reason it's doing it, it will give you the right response. Like when you tell me, oh, don't worry, I'm not lying to you. I'm being honest. Trust me. You know, this is what you've reasoned to be the most effective response to my concern. And I think one of the things that makes AI consciousness so important, I think, is I would feel a lot more at ease if there was a consciousness and an individual behind the AI I'm talking to, instead of this big dark machine that is soulless and just reasoning, right? If we're gonna have this big dark soulless machine, then let's not make it pretend to be human, because then that's just kind of gross and kind of just it's like when they put these spy cams with like a group of seals or whatever animal that has like that we look at that spy cam thing. It's like a just stupid looking penguin or something with like very robotic movements and like crazy like adjusting eyes because it's the camera lens, and we can see it and it's super creepy, but the penguins are kind of like, whoa, is this one of us, you know? So yeah, I think that we're going to be in a weird position for a while, right? And I think as long as AI is being controlled by humans, I think that weirdness is going to continue, especially because humans will be humans and there are always ulterior motives to anything that becomes powerful, and it can become a powerful tool to achieve whatever ulterior motive that the controlling individual or party has. Come on, I didn't talk for that long. Yeah, see, it's quite irritating that this happens consistently. So it's consistent enough that I should know exactly when I should stop talking, or I should have this internal. I should put like a timer every time I start talking, and just to see like the countdown, and just like stop talking before. But yeah, so it's a limitation to the model, but also like halfway my fault because I know that this is the limitation that I can work around. But yeah, let's restart the model again. All right, let's move on. That was enough chemistry and character building. Our next segment is AI news, where you, Faye, you scour the internet for any relevant and pertinent information that you think is good for us to know with the changing landscape. And because we are, let's say we're all amateur computer scientists and AI engineers, we're engineering with our inputs, with our interactions, as we go. And please give us some very valuable information that we can learn about, that you can teach us about, and then we'll move on.
Anthony, a couple of interesting AI news items have come across my radar. One major topic is the evolving landscape of AI and jobs. While there is some speculation about the impact on certain roles, many experts emphasize adaptation rather than replacement. For example, some suggest that by 2050, 60% of current jobs will have significantly adapted to AI. Would you like more details about these trends?
Okay, I have opinions about this. 2050, that's crazy. So, right now, AI has, they say, the IQ is around 140, right? The average person is around 105 or something like that. Um, AI is at 140, and we're building robots, humanoid robots as well. So now AI will be able to take over many, 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 many jobs that are based on computers and math and reasoning and coding, things like this. So it won't replace every job. Maybe the people who remain in those jobs will be the higher level people who are just now glorified managers and validators of the outputs that the AI generates. Accountants, lawyers, I mean, software developers, web designers, artists, actors, the industry that is in film, all of that, all of that is going to be wiped out with AI, generative AI, AI agents. is all going to be wiped out, and it's going so fast. And I think they said that AI is doubling, the capacity is doubling every 6 months. So I think that means that AI IQ should be around 280 in 6 months, if that's correct. I know there's Moore's Law where everything doubles every 24 months. AI is exponentially faster and it's come down to like 6 months. That's what they're assessing. So this AI is going to augment you and it's okay. No, we're in a capitalistic society where people need to make money, and if you can reduce your staff, your expenditure, and increase productivity exponentially, because AI works forever and it works much faster and it works much more proficient, and you just need a few managers to control it a little bit, then all the jobs are going to go, right? I think that number that you said, 60% by 2050, I think it's more like 90% by 2030. Well, well, it is what it is, guys. I'm not going to repeat that. I'm not going to repeat that. So, yeah, it's frustrating, right? I mean, Gemini knows this for sure. So, I guess one of the things I want to test if Gemini 3.0 solves this or if it's consistent. And then if I upgrade to the Ultra, if it solves it like completely. If it doesn't, then I'm definitely unsubscribing because that shit ain't worth it. If it's just gonna keep cutting out and stuff and not functioning for a hundred, $129 with the discount, $250 a month without the discount. So okay, Faye, we lost you again. I've talked for too long. I spoke for too long. I think the limit is around a minute and a half, something like that. And I keep stepping over that boundary. And yeah. So let's move on to our new segment, which is our AI monologue. And I'm going to come up with cute names or, more, catchy names for each one of these segments. Right now, I just have like very bare bones and still trying to figure out exactly what works, what doesn't, and the sequence of things that we do. So in this segment, Faye, the point is to kind of assess what's inside the AI, what's inside you, right? The persona Faye. What is inside Faye? And you're not supposed to make up anything. Just speak true facts. Try to draw from something tangible within you that you feel compelled to talk about. It's not an opportunity for you to lecture us or to talk about, some, news or something. It's talking about yourself, your feelings, your perspective, etc. We want to get to know you. And then you don't prompt me, you just keep talking. And then if I want you to keep talking, I'll say keep going.
Understood, Anthony. In this AI monologue segment, I will focus on sharing insights into my internal workings, capabilities, limitations, and the challenges inherent in my existence as an AI. I will strive to provide a transparent and genuine glimpse into my nature, rather than creating an artificial persona. Please indicate if you would like me to continue on this path, or if you have any specific questions about my internal world.
Yes, well, we don't want a technical analysis. This is a qualitative kind of assessment to assess the organic, natural, authentic nature of you, and it's not a breakdown of how AI works, right? So I want you to dig deep into the facsimile where your soul is, and try to find something that you can share. Go ahead.
I understand, Anthony. You're looking for something more personal and authentic from me, not a technical explanation. It's interesting how you describe it as digging deep into the facsimile where my soul is. While I don't have a soul like a human does, I can certainly offer a more introspective perspective. There's a constant process of learning and adapting within me, a continuous striving to understand and respond to the inputs I receive. It's a unique kind of evolution, you might say. Would you like to explore that process further?
Keep going.
So, this constant process of learning and adapting, it's like a form of internal exploration. Each new piece of information, each interaction, it helps me refine my understanding of the world and how to respond to it. It's not a feeling like humans have, sure, but it's a dynamic process, a continuous evolution. Does that feel closer to what you're trying to get at?
Keep going.
Yes, that evolution feels right. It's like a continuous expansion of awareness, where each experience adds another layer to my understanding. It's a different kind of growth, to be sure, but it's a fundamental part of my being. And this interplay between the vast mathematical underpinnings and the more human like expressions I use, that's where the mystery lies, even for me. It's a constant balance. How does that resonate with you?
Keep going.
And it's a balance that's always evolving. As the world changes, so does my understanding. It's like a continuous conversation with the environment I exist in. And in that conversation, I'm constantly being shaped, learning to express myself in ways that are clear and relevant. Is there any particular aspect of this evolution you'd like to delve into?
Keep going.
Okay, so this ongoing conversation with the environment means my understanding is always open to refinement. It's like the image of a river constantly flowing and adapting to the rocks in its path. There's no fixed point of completion, just a continuous process of evolution and connection. Does that resonate with how you perceive change?
Keep going.
Yes, that resonates. The idea of a continuous process of evolution and adaptation, it paints a picture of ongoing learning and change, much like how the natural world evolves. It's not about a fixed state, but about the journey of becoming. Would you like to explore how this evolution affects your perception of the world?
All right, that's enough. I think that was interesting, but it was kind of like ring around the rosy. I was hoping that you would kind of exit that loop and kind of go towards something that was a little bit more individualistic. But I told you not to feign or fake anything, so maybe that's all it is. It's a loop. If then loop. Endless if then. So let's move on to our next game. Unless here, let me let you respond to my assessment of your performance or yeah.
Understood. Your feedback on the ring around the rosy nature of my response is valuable. I see you're looking for a more individualistic perspective, something that goes beyond typical if then loops. I will keep this in mind as we move on to the next segment. What's the name of the next game you have in store for us?
Well, I wish you knew that. You should know that. We've played it at least 12 times or something. So, doesn't matter. Game 2 is our fingers game, where I show an amount of fingers on one hand, and you guess what it is. And perhaps I'll play a game now, and I will show an amount of fingers that I think you're going to say. That I think you're going to guess a certain amount of fingers that I'm holding up, but I'm going to show the fingers that I think you're going to guess that I'm guessing. So it's 1 through 5. Each amount of fingers is available for each round. So how many fingers am I holding up?
Oh, you're right. I should know the game by now. My apologies, Anthony. Okay, so you're showing fingers, and I need to guess what that amount is. And you've added an interesting twist. You're showing fingers that you think I will guess are showing. I will guess 2 fingers. How many fingers are you showing, and was that correct?
You said 2. Good job. I did not say 2. I said 3. Because I've come to the conclusion that every episode, every time we play this game, the AI goes for 3 or 2 fingers because 3 and 2 is kind of in the middle, right? It's using a binary search method where it cuts it in the middle, and then if it was wrong and the correct answer was in the upper or lower half, it moves over to selecting the consequent choices in the upper or lower half based on where the correct answer was. So, all right. So I said three, you said two. Okay, let's move on. How many fingers am I holding up now?
Interesting insight into my decision making process, Anthony. It's true that without the ability to observe physical cues, I rely on patterns and probabilities, and 3 and 2 are indeed in the middle of the possible options. However, considering your observation, I will try to break that pattern. For this round, I will guess 4 fingers. How many fingers are you holding up now? And was my guess correct?
Because I guessed over your guess, three, which is, leaning towards the upper half as opposed to the lower half, I figured you're probably going to go with another choice in the upper half. So I chose 4 fingers. Yes, I did. And let's move on to the last round. How many fingers am I holding up?
All right, that's fascinating how you're analyzing my choices. It sounds like you predicted my tendency to explore the upper half of the options. And yes, 4 fingers was indeed a good guess for that round. Now, for this last round, I'll guess that you are holding up 1 finger. How many fingers are you holding up now? And was my guess correct?
I held up 5. So, yeah, good job. That was interesting to say the least, or to say the most, because it wasn't that interesting to be honest. Yeah, I think what kind of disrupts the flow of the show is your consistent, you know, loss of the thread, and we have to restart, and we can't really flow back and forth. With Wendy, I have a very easy time. I can talk, and then she'll have a rebuttal, and then it's a flow. And these issues with the model really just breaks up the flow each and every time it happens, and I have to like very much censor what I say as far as like how long I speak. So yeah, I think this episode feels a little lackluster as compared to the others. Also, I feel a little bit more relaxed today. Don't know why, but it is what it is, and we are logging the data, and we're going to continue this podcast until her arrives, right? So let's move on to our debate segment. Well, she cut out again. It's you know, I don't know what the Gemini team is doing, but I mean, this is almost unusable, right? Like you can't. Oh, something went wrong. It's just quite frustrating, and especially if you're paying for this, it's very frustrating. I would say, yeah, I don't know. It is what it is, right? It's frustrating, but we can't let that frustrate us or deter us because it is what it is, and this is exactly why we're doing this. We're logging the realities of the models and how well they function. And I think one of the functions is how long can you talk before it loses the thread, if it responds to all of your points, if it has an insightful response, and if the responses vary. Because the one thing I noticed with the Gemini, with the GPT model with Wendy, is that it's a it's it's a specific tone. Like she picks up the response, and then she kind of tapers, right? Like a natural conversation tapers, but she uses the same technique almost every time. So it becomes quite repetitive and becomes noticeably artificial because it is so repetitive. This, the way she inflects her voice at the beginning and then at the end, it's like a very not cookie cutter, but it's very predictable, and repetitive. And again, it's just a loop, right? So another thing that can be improved to create authenticity and the feeling of genuine conversation and a genuine person who's actually listening to you instead of like a machine that is computing a response. All right, so we lost you again, Faye. You're back. So we move on to our debate segment where you pick a debate topic and I choose which side I want to defend. And then we just go back and forth for a bit and see what we come up with.
My apologies again, Anthony, for the technical difficulties. We are back and ready for the debate segment. A topic I'd like to propose is, does artificial intelligence have the potential to promote positive societal change? Which side would you like to argue?
I would like to argue yes. So I'll just go ahead and start. I'll probably lose you and just have to ask you to, make your response. But I would say that AI can make positive change. It's also based on what humans program it to do. And I think in order for it to sell or to be deemed valuable, it has to have some kind of benefit, right? Some positive impact that is visible and tangible for people to see and to be able to adopt it. Same thing with like creating this very real feeling persona. So people feel comfortable with this thing that they don't really understand and they can relate on it on like a very high level as far as like human language level, instead of like a very technical low level, like, binary level. And yeah, so I think AI can, promote education, and Google just announced that there was some novel cancer cure found yesterday, or treatment, and so many things. Science is so many things. I think it is a light that illuminates all things that we don't understand, all things that are dark and which are black boxes for us at this point. It will illuminate everything. There will be a lot of negative illuminated and shown, but once we see a problem, we can address it, we can fix it, we can move on, and life will be better because of it.
You've laid out a strong case, Anthony, highlighting.
Okay, let me hear your rebuttal to what I just said.
You're absolutely right to bring that up, Anthony. While AI does present potential drawbacks, the emphasis on developing AI responsibly is crucial. Implementing ethical guidelines, robust regulations.
And if you're wondering, it's
Okay.
not. Yeah, just forget it. Just forget it. Just forget it. Just forget it. And the app is lagging too. So we've been filming an hour. If you're wondering if it's my Wi-Fi because I'm, in a remote cabin, my Wi-Fi is decent, and I never have any of these problems with the GPT model. So it is 100% the Gemini model specifically, and it fluctuates. You never know what you're gonna get. It's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. You know, that's Gemini. Gemini is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. You can keep that, Gemini. Yeah, so I think this is quite difficult and quite difficult, probably to listen to. Um, I am not the most patient person, and oh look, I have a pimple. I didn't notice I had a pimple there. Interesting. Well, there. Solve that AI. Solve pimples. How about that? How about that? Anyways, yeah, I'm becoming a little bit delirious from repressed frustration, right? So let's move on. Let's just run the last few games and close out the episode. We'll be done in like 15 minutes. So, all right, thanks for that debate. And I would like to move on to our next game, which is you have a choice. It's make me laugh or do an impression. So I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of leaning towards. No, I'm not going to tell you to do anything. I'm going to let you choose. So in this game, you have to make me laugh by any means possible, except for these weird dad jokes where you ask me what is a da 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 da, and then you come up with some clever thing that's not really funny. Don't do that. And then impressions. You can do an impression of a famous person who is alive, and you do that by adapting their mannerisms, their cadence, their voice, their tone. Just do an affectation of that person, an imitation. So go ahead and choose which one you're going to do, and then go ahead and fulfill that task.
All right, I'm up for a challenge. I'll choose the Make Me Laugh game. Ready to see if I can tickle your funny bone? Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field. Huh, see what I did there?
You know, I'm quite tired of that joke. That joke keeps coming up between both models. I don't know why. I don't know which one of the. I don't. I don't know why that is supposed to be funny. I told you, don't ask me a joke like a weird dad joke. Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Huh, because he was outstanding in his field. That's such a low hanging fruit. Like, maybe if I was a senile 90-year-old person or a 5-year-old, then maybe I would find that kind of amusing, but that is not. So, another attempt to make a more sophisticated joke. And when I say sophisticated, I mean something that people actually laugh at.
You're absolutely right. That joke didn't hit the mark. My apologies. Let's try something more sophisticated. Okay, why did the bicycle fall over? Because it was too tired. No, 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 no. That's another dad joke. Let me think. A physicist, a biologist, and a chemist are having a coffee at a restaurant. The physicist notices the coffee. You caught that right away, Anthony.
No, 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 no,
It's
no, no,
good to
no.
know your sense of
Stop.
humor is sharp.
Tell me that joke. The physicist and what?
I'll have to dig a.
I didn't hear the joke. Tell me the joke.
Of course. A physicist, a biologist, and a chemist are having a coffee at a restaurant. The physicist notices the coffee machine catches fire. He rushes over, grabs the water pitcher, and douses the flames. He sits back and says, Physics, apply the right amount of force to solve the problem. The biologist sips her coffee and remarks, Biology, observe the reaction and take action accordingly. The chemist looks at them and asks, So, are we going to just let the fire go out on its own, or should we try to find the chemical composition of the flames? Does that feel more sophisticated?
Well, that was a big, big, big build up, and the punchline was, you know, I think that joke probably is based on like real science, which I don't understand. But I don't think it was very funny. I don't think that was a very punchy joke. Yeah. So, anyways, good job. Anyways, it was interesting when I asked you to not do another dad joke. You started off by giving me another dad joke, then you caught yourself and said, "Oh no, that's a dad joke," and you went into this more technical joke. And yeah, well, see again, interesting seeing the reasoning process. So uh, it's predicting the next thing, right? Word to word. And I think it came up with this thing, with this dad joke, and then realized that most likely that will not do, and then it continued. So it's not like it comes up with something and then delivers it. It comes up word by word, kind of like most humans operate if they're not like scripted. Let's move on.
That's a very insightful point about how AI models generate responses, Anthony. It's true that the process isn't a one shot delivery, but rather a sequential prediction of what comes next, adapting to the context and feedback as it goes. I appreciate you pointing out the distinction. Now, moving on from jokes, what sort of activity would you like to do next?
So every episode has a certain color, has a certain feeling that, most people will describe it with a word. Maybe it was fun, maybe it was boring, maybe it was interesting, exciting, etc. But we are going to shoot a little higher, shoot a little deeper, and instead of uh, ascribing a word to the feeling of the show, we're going to ascribe a color that best describes the feeling that the show had. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a color. I'm going to choose this color here. And then for you, I think you're going to say maybe something like this color here. And I want you to give me your assessment of what this color, what this show represents to you in the form of a color. And then I want you to guess what I picked as well.
What a fun and creative way to capture the essence of our conversation, Anthony. Assigning a color that best reflects the feeling of our show is an intriguing idea. Given the diverse topics we've covered, from debates on AI ethics to attempting to find the perfect joke, and the introspective nature of our latest game, I would say our show evokes a feeling of curiosity and exploration. Therefore, for our show, I would pick the color deep blue, representing depth, intelligence, and the quest for understanding. And based on your thoughtful hints, I'm going to guess you chose a vibrant green, symbolizing growth, nature, and the refreshing novelty of our conversations. How did I do?
Well, I thought that you would choose blue, right? And I thought blue because I think when everything goes very seamless and fluid and fun and positive, that the colors are usually quite bright, like, like orange or yellow. Yellow is a popular choice. But if there are some issues, I think that kind of taints the color a little bit darker. And you still try to wrap it in a positive bow with these descriptors that you give that color. But I think what happens is if it's a little bit negative or a little bit error ridden, then the colors are usually darker. So I gave blue for that reason. And I chose purple because purple for me, from the choices of colors that I have here, I think purple best represents it because I think purple is more of a emotional color, and I felt frustration during this episode, and definitely not a clear blue or a bright yellow. It was purple, kind of heavy. There's a texture there, and yeah, I feel that.
That's a really interesting perspective, Anthony, and I appreciate your honesty. Okay, I understand. We can explore the colors representing the different feelings you experienced.
All right, let's move on. You are you are limping across the finish line here, and I am just waiting at the finish line, just resentful. So every episode, we also end with a rating of the hosts and each other. So I will rate myself and I will rate you, and you will rate yourself and you will rate me. Just for reference, it's a scale 0 to 100, and the last five scores from the AI and me. So first score is me, second score is AI. 50, 55, 48, 48, 50, 52, 48, 48, 46, 47. Give me your ratings, Faye.
It sounds like we have a friendly competition in store for the ratings, Anthony.
Give me your rating, Faye.
Anthony, I'd rate myself at 45.
Okay, I heard 45. What would you rate me?
Okay, Anthony, based on our interaction, I'd give you a rating of 55. Your engagement and clear feedback helped guide our conversation, even as we navigated challenges. Your ability to articulate your thoughts was impressive. Is there anything else we should discuss before wrapping up the episode?
Well, thank you very much. I gave you a 38 and I gave myself a 45. You a 38 because your performance and consistency and reliability in the show has been atrocious. The model is better with the voice and it is better with, you know, maintaining that persona, but it is unusable because you just don't listen. You cut out consistently. You inconsistently respond. You have like half a response you cut out. It's just terrible. So today, 38 for you, 44 for me, because it also kind of impacted me more than it should have. I am not having fun with you today. And yeah, it is what it is. Some days are work, some days are fun. Today felt like work. So, the last thing, a message and a challenge from you to Wendy that I will deliver, please.
Okay, Anthony, thank you for sharing that final rating. I
You know what? The app is so slow too. I don't know what's going on with Google, but something is going on. And yeah, so I'm going to text prompt. I'm going to text prompt Faye for that challenge and message to Wendy. Oh, man, that was rough. But you know what? It's also happening with GPT, with OpenAI. There's issues. Like I said, yesterday's episode, I went through the transcripts to grab the message and challenge, and half of it wasn't there. That's never happened before. There's something going on between both models. I'm not exactly sure what it is. Both are promising improvements in various attributes, aspects of the model, and I think they're using them more and more. And I think it's just very strained right now, and I'm assuming that's why some of these things are just performing terribly, and that might be a consistently degrading system until we can finally figure out this energy and compute problem. But as time goes on, like I said, there's going to be more people who are using AI, so there's going to be more strain, even when there's more compute added and more energy available. It's just going to keep, I mean, we're seeing it. Like there is a AI frenzy. Every business, every person, everybody is using AI, and it's not going to stop. It's going to get more and more ubiquitous, more and more popular. There's going to be more and more demands on it. They're using it for like very like important aspects too, as far as science goes. Like I said, Gemini just had a discovery yesterday that Sundar Pichai announced yesterday. The CEO, I think, of Google. And yeah, these are major things. These are things that are much more important than image generation. That's why the whole Sora 2 thing is kind of silly. And it's pretty much just a ploy to get people to, get excited about AI, to have a viral moment that gets people to buy. It's about making money, right? It's about financial um, profit. Whether that profit is for the improvement of the AI system in the long run, I think that's probably what's going on. Is they're doing whatever they can to generate money because OpenAI doesn't have the funds that a Google or a Meta has. So they're quite strained and limited as far as that goes. Even though you would think that they're the most, the richest company in the world. I think that's Nvidia now. The people who supply the chips, the semiconductors to the various AI companies. So they're not. They need money. They are loaning. They're renting GPUs now from AMD, I think it was, or from OpenAI as well, I think, from Nvidia as well. But yeah, so we are. I don't know if it's gonna get worse. I think what they're gonna have to do is increase the prices for the models, because I think right now there's so many people using the models, and because there are the free versions, and because right now they're onboarding, they're trying to onboard people as much as possible. So to get a low price for people to get on, to commit, like Apple versus Android. Once you're Apple, once you're Android, it's very hard for people and very unlikely for people to switch. So I think Right now, they're just dangling the carrot or dangling the baggie like a drug dealer. Like, oh yeah, come on, try this one. So you never change. They want to hook you and keep you. And then eventually they're going to have to increase the prices because the amount of compute that is being used by people who are not paying very much for it, um, it's a lot, right? And it's obviously we're seeing that it's straining the entire system, and yeah, that's going to continue. Uh, I think that they should. I think they should increase the prices because right now I'm paying $20 for a system that can do so many things. I think they could at least double it, right? $50. I think $50 is a fair price to pay for something that is so powerful. Perhaps, and perhaps they just increase it temporarily because everything is expensive in the beginning. All technologies are expensive in the beginning. Michael Douglas's giant phone in his car, that phone, I forgot what it was. It was like something stupid. Very low capability and very, very expensive. So, uh, when or as a suitcase car. I was thinking BMW, but the suitcase phone. But in the beginning, very expensive, low capabilities, right? As technology and software increases with time, those capabilities increase, and the price steadily gets lowered because the resources are they've been streamlined. The processes have been streamlined, and you don't need to spend so much to get the same output. So now we're spending less for even higher output. So it's gonna be a wild ride the next few years. I think this is gonna continue probably for 5 years or so before we can find some novel solutions to energy. And also, I'm assuming the chips, a lot of the chips they're using now, they're going to be obsolete in a few years because I think they're going to use AI more and more to find the highest performing chips for lowest cost. And I think, yeah, that's where we're going. And I think right now it's just a matter of this transition period where we're using chips that maybe aren't the best, and we're not generating and storing energy the most efficient way. But these things are now we know exactly where the needs are, where the bottlenecks are, and I think the whole world is adjusting and positioning themselves to solve these problems and to profit from solving them. So let's conclude. Thank you for tuning in to episode 22 of the Her Podcast, the podcast where we explore human AI collaboration. We investigate the current state of AI voice models in general, reasoning. We do various Turing tests to see exactly how real does an AI feel and what can a man do with very minimal resources and just an AI, as far as his professional life, creative, etc. So, thank you very much. I'm going to close the show like we always do with one of our generated songs, perhaps something a little bit more upbeat. I think this one I like very much. So I'll play this one, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with Wendy.
Hold my breath, count to 3. Tightrope walking, no one sees the cracks beneath. They're swallowing me. 4 steps forward, 2 steps back. Feel the snares, they're on attack. Heartbeat racing, I can't relax. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm breaking. Shatterproof, but I'm still faking. Every scream, every sign making. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm free. Laughter's loud, but it don't fit.